Mueller report concluded flat out on the question of Russian collusion, the evidence did not support criminal charges.
That's right.
See the forbidden news at Infowars.com. We need your support more than ever, so go to InfoWarsStore.com. Get the best products that you need and help keep our reporters on the front lines in the fight for freedom. The Democrats have made it abundantly murky. We are facing a constitutional crisis.
We have a constitutional crisis.
Could create a constitutional crisis.
This could precipitate a constitutional crisis.
We've talked for a long time about approaching a constitutional crisis. We are now in it.
This country is now in a, quote, constitutional crisis.
We are in a crisis, a constitutional crisis.
It's going to be a real constitutional crisis in America.
A constitutional crisis or a constitutional confrontation?
Do you agree with Chairman Nadler that the country is currently in a constitutional crisis?
Yes, I do agree with Chairman Nadler. It's a path that is producing results and gathering information. And some of that information is that this administration wants to have a constitutional crisis because they do not respect the oath of office that they take.
Agreed. There must be checks and balances between the executive and legislative branches, but which one of these branches is overstepping its authority? On the one hand, President Trump is now stonewalling an unrelenting investigation by Congress into every aspect of his financial and personal life, one that should have ended with the conclusion of the Mueller report, thus allowing America to tackle the increasingly important issues facing its survival, namely the immigration crisis that more and more Americans are becoming concerned with, according to recent polling.
I don't know that Democrats know what the word crisis means. Obviously, they can't claim that we have an economic crisis. We've got growth at twice the rate that was expected under the Obama economy, and everybody's doing a lot better. But we have a real crisis on the border where 3,000 people a day are turning themselves into a system that we cannot accommodate additional influx for. And now we've got a tortured interpretation of a constitutional crisis.
You know, a lot of the Democratic presidential candidates don't talk about the Mueller report. They want to talk about health care and economic issues.
Health care and economic issues are great issues, but they don't mean you shouldn't look at Russian interference.
While on the other hand, Jerry Nadler and a horde of disingenuous Democrats want to continue a Russian collusion smear campaign that has run out of gas, demanding all of Trump's financial records in a vague attempt to link Trump to the Russian government, and pivoting on the Don McGahn incident, where Trump had instructed former White House lawyer McGahn to have then Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein fire special counsel Robert Mueller, an order McGahn ignored. The Democrats claim this was obstruction. Obstruction of what? There was no collusion.
I never told Don McGahn to fire Mueller. If I wanted to fire Mueller, I would have done it myself. It's very simple. I had the right to. And frankly, whether I did or he did, we had the absolute right to fire Mueller.
You have the votes to hold Attorney General Barr in contempt of Congress, which will be meaningless because you will never be able to enforce such a vote of contempt before a court of proper jurisdiction, because you cannot legally, before a court, have someone in contempt for refusing to do what the law says they cannot do.
The Mueller report concluded flat out on the question of Russian collusion, the evidence did not support criminal charges.
That's right.
The Democrats doth protest too much as they continue to harass a president found innocent and yet offer zero explanation of their knowledge of the real constitutional crisis we are all facing.
Bill Barr has said he's going to get to the bottom of it. And think about the term he used again. This is important. Political surveillance in the United States of America. I will not yield. Think about that term. He's going to get to he said he's going to put a team together, going to investigate all this. This is critical. And never forget the guy who ran this investigation, Peter Strzok, ran the Clinton investigation and then launched and ran the Trump-Russia investigation. Never forget what he said. Trump should lose 100 million to zero. We need an insurance policy. Told Lisa Page, don't worry, Lisa, we'll stop Trump.
The crisis where Democratic operatives of the legislative branch and the Obama administration, who couldn't accept the constitutional election of the president, were in league with rogue agents of the United States Intelligence Department to illegally spy on then-candidate Trump, then supported a fraudulent dossier that in turn created illegal FISA warrants, which led to a 2-year, $35 million investigation that turned up a giant nothing burger.
We have learned has concluded that the final 3 FISA extensions were illegally obtained. The only question now is whether or not the first FISA was illegally obtained, and he apparently, as a result of those disclosures from John Solomon today, which he was unaware of, the Bureau hid those memos from Horowitz. As a result of that, they are doing some additional work on the first FISA. It may be that all 4 FISAs will have been obtained illegally.
The only real constitutional crisis is in the investigation now sitting on the Attorney General's desk. John Bound reporting. With all the censorship big tech is engaged in, it's critical that you sign up for our free newsletter at Infowars.com/newsletter. You will get breaking news, videos, great deals at InfoWarsStore.com, and all the latest articles with key intel and analysis. Cognitive dissonance is a major issue amongst the left. It can be very stressful dealing with facts you refuse to accept. If you have a family member suffering from this degenerative mental condition, buy them a bottle of Ultimate Fish Oil from InfoWarsStore.com. Studies have suggested that fish oils and fish oil supplementation can slightly lower blood pressure, decrease triglyceride levels, decrease the growth rate of plaque, and provide a soothing reduction in inflammatory responses in joints and the digestive system. Recent studies have suggested that high EPA and DHA fish oil can stimulate immune function by increasing the concentration and activity of immune cells. Perhaps that family member or friend's mind is shorting out with leftist fantasies due to a lack of the supplementation found in Ultimate Fish Oil. It worked for my family, and now I can have a logical and calm discussion about actual facts that pertain to reality. Get your Ultimate Fish Oil for a friend, family member, or yourself at InfoWarsStore.com.